Welcome to episode 45 of Generation Gap Book Reviews. I'm Christy the Mom.
And I'm Lena the Dada.
In this episode, we're going to review both books 2 and 3 in the ILYON Chronicles series, which are called The King's Scrolls and SAMARA'S Peril, both by Jaye L. We reviewed the first book, Lena reviewed the first book in episode 6, and I hadn't read it yet at the time. And then later I read it as well, and I updated with my thoughts in episode 37. Before we move on, we'll definitely mention there will be probably spoilers for Resistance, the first book,
Yeah.
because can't really avoid that, but we won't spoil book 2 when we talk about book 3. So, with that being said, in this book we start out with Chiron, her twin brother Caden, and Jace, the half-blood, the half-Ryrick.
The half-blood.
They're all already living in this rebel camp, and they are helping to run missions to free other followers of Elam, which is because that's outlawed in this world.
Yeah.
Well, in this country. And then they get some unexpected visitors to the camp in the form of a group of dragon riders.
Ooh.
And the dragon riders are all of a race called Creets, there are 5 people races, because dragons are technically a race too, but 5 sentient races in this world.
Yeah.
And here I don't know if if the Creets were involved at all in the first book. I don't remember. I don't think so. They might have mentioned them, but here we have the Creets, who basically are the ones who are known for being dragon riders actually, and they come in and on their dragons, and they ask for help tracking down the last known copies of the King's Scrolls, which are basically Word of Elam written down on scrolls.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what this book is about.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go first this time because it's been a little longer since Lena's read it, and she's having a hard time remembering what she liked, but I'm sure she can chime in and then maybe it'll jog her memory. As I say, so one thing is, after reading the first book, I compared it to the time of Nero, which was partly because I'd read a book not that long ago, the fictionalized version. I read a fiction story about Christians being persecuted during the time of Nero, so it came to mind easily. And I realized during this book, if you're going to equate it to biblical history, it's really more like Old Testament times. Maybe even during the 400 years of silence, basically,
Mm-hmm.
things are just kind of messy, and followers of Elam are in hiding. And there are a lot of really great moments in this book, both related to the religion side of things, the King's Scrolls and searching for them, and what people are willing to go through to track them down, but also family connections. The addition of dragons, which people from Landale, the rebel camp, actually end up getting to ride, and that's really cool. That whole
Yeah.
thing.
Dragons. Oh yeah, I was really excited when they came up.
And how much like Caden became like this major
He was like
fanboy about dragons.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
And we meet new allies, we meet some enemies, and there is a heart-wrenching moment in this book that is
Oh yeah.
definitely very sad,
That was a good moment though.
but also used very well.
Mm-hmm.
In a way that if I were even really to explain what I mean, it'd be kind of a spoiler, so I won't say anything else, but the outcome of it was well written.
Yeah. Nope.
So we'll move on to, what did you not like about the book?
I can't think of anything.
Okay, I'll start as well. I'll go with mine as well. It's interesting. There were a few major downsides, and this has been, and I've now read 3 of the books. Nope, I have now read 4 of the books. Even though we're only reviewing up to 3 right now. Chiron and Jace are clearly the main characters, and at this point, I still felt like Chiron was like the main character, but she's just so blah. The only thing I can really say is, it's hard to explain, but she's like too shiny.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know that I can say she's too perfect, because she's pretty much too perfect. She really doesn't have any character development. So I felt kind of, her being one of the main characters, just um and the other issue I had was something that I kind of identified as an issue for me when I read the Wingfeather Saga. Specifically, I remember it during Northrop E. Eden. I don't know if I don't know if I made up this term in my own head or if I've seen this somewhere, but what I'm calling peril fatigue, which is when the
Mm.
characters go from one dangerous situation to another too quickly for me or them, but more importantly in the case of me, getting a chance to rest. They're out of peril, they manage to make it through, and then immediately they're into peril again, and then immediately they're into peril again, and I want they need to take. You got to have your ups and downs, you got to have your beats, and I felt like it was just too bad, bad, bad. That was pretty much the only two things I could really peg as things that I didn't
Mm.
care for about the book. So, anything else you want to say before we move on to the next steps?
Good book.
Good book. What do you rate it?
5 stars.
Okay. I rated it 4.5,
Yeah.
which is a whole star higher than I rated the first book. So I like
So
this one,
far,
which I
it's your
thought I would.
favorite book.
Yeah, I had a feeling I'd like this one more than the first book because of the reasons that I didn't care for the first book, which the second half I liked more, and then we get into this one and it's more of what I like still. So now, Samara's Peril, book number 3.
This is my favorite.
So Samara refers to a neighboring country, and the rebels in Landale are brought news that basically the Emperor Daikin,
Daikin.
is ready to declaring war on Samara. Plus, news is coming out of Samara about a man there who might be worth meeting. So, Elena, what did you like about this book?
There were so many things. Well, there were several very exciting moments that I got really excited about. And then there was also it was just there were some emotional things, and so yeah, like
Kind
that
of thing
stuff.
where the stuff that the stuff that you liked the most, you can't really say because you might spoil something.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes it hard, doesn't it?
yeah,
But really, really, to you at least, really epic moments,
yeah,
heart-wrenching moments,
yeah,
emotional moments
yeah.
throughout the book, or like kind of all near the end, or
Well, there were several near the end, and then I don't know, throughout the book as well. I don't remember everything specifically, but yeah, stuff.
for me, there was a lot of really good stuff in this book as well. There was some action, some emotion, some kind of little minor twists or surprises at least. Definitely, I guess emotion kind of covers it, but definitely some heartfelt moments. And I think a culmination of various elements that worked out really, really well.
Mhm.
And the world overall, I mean, I think part of it for me is I'm enjoying the world and the way the author's going with the world as much as anything,
Mhm.
if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
What did you not like about it?
I didn't have anything I didn't like about it. You, on the other hand.
Well, I didn't have a ton, but a few things that are worth mentioning. So, this book is actually broken into 4 parts. And I sort of felt like it was more like 2 parts. It's like information gathering and stuff leading up to the war, and then like everything about the war and things and the aftermath of the war in Samara, I mean. And the first part had some really good stuff in it. Some really good advancement of characters and stuff, but it
Mhm.
was also super bogged down. So in the previous book, as I mentioned just a little bit ago, the main character seemed to be Chiron, but here it kind of shifts to Jace.
Mhm.
Jace is still struggling with his half Ryric-ness. The fact that at least in this part of the world, it's believed, or at least assumed, that Ryrics are basically just almost like demons. They have no souls. They're just creatures, animals, even though they're
Yeah.
sentient. And um, Jace is still struggling with that. He's been led to believe that he's been led to belief in Elam, and he's struggling to fully follow Elam and fully trust and believe that he cares about Jace. And all of that I have no problem with. It's how long it all dragged out in this book and how much we came back to him just ruminating over it and brooding. I know there are people who love a really broody guy. I'm not one of those people, apparently.
He wasn't. At least he wasn't
He
broody for
was
that
broody.
long.
And then there's also the religious side this time. Took a turn that I kind of saw coming, but I felt it was just incredibly underwhelming. And this is not the first or the only time I have felt this way in a book that is in some way a metaphor, an analogy, a parallel, anything to biblical history. I mean, there's no copying the original without just copying it. So when people try to make analogies to it, I guess I just don't really. I'm just not right there with them, I guess. I mean, honestly, Chronicles of Narnia, even. I'm just like, this isn't as much of an analogy as I thought it was supposed to be, but then later I felt like it was again, and I was just like, this is just weird. And there's another series that I'm currently in the middle of reading that actually has a very, it's weird because I'm about the same place in that series as I am in this one, and it has a very similar kind of thing to it too in regards to being somewhat of an analogy for biblical
You're
history.
what? What do
There's
you
another
mean you're
series
in
I'm
the same
currently
kind of place in
I'm in
this?
about the same place in the series with this other series as I am with this series. The one we're reviewing right now is 3 books out of 6,
Okay.
and in the other series I'm 2 books out of 3. So about halfway in both of them. And they both had a similar arc in the most recent book I read, at the time of this review at least. I'm not gonna, yeah.
Mhm.
And both of them just fell a little short for me because I think just you can't match the epicness of what's actually in the Bible, the actual biblical history. So when people try and then don't even get, like, I feel like don't even get remotely close to it, I'm a little disappointed. That's all.
Mhm.
I do my best to still enjoy the story for what it is, but I think it's similar to thinking about like Earth as a shade of heaven, or the good things that happen on Earth as only a shade of what's going to happen in heaven.
Mhm.
You can't ever be fully satisfied by it. And I think that's all it is. So I don't mean it to be like it's a terrible thing. And, I can't help but it's a personal preference. I'm well aware of that. I just can't help but say it was underwhelming to me.
Mhm.
That's all. Maybe I'm picky, and that's okay. I'm allowed to be picky. You're allowed to not, you're allowed to like things more than me. But I know you were quite disappointed at my feeling underwhelmed by it. So,
And then I went, oh,
because
I shouldn't have recommended this book series to you.
I've been liking it,
I know.
but you don't need to be too disappointed because, well, first, what did you rate this book? Of course, I mean, it's your favorite in the series, so
5,
I gave it 4 stars.
6 stars. I'm
Okay.
joking. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But I gave it 4 stars, which is not bad.
Yeah.
That means I liked it,
Yeah.
and I liked it more than the first one because I only gave that 3.5. So yeah, so we're gonna come back to this after we have both read Exiles and Bitter Winter,
Yeah. I
and
have read both of them, but we don't
hopefully you won't
forget
forget them
them.
as much
Oh, yeah, we'll
when
see.
by the time we're ready to record.
I know what we're reviewing next.
And then the final book in the series, which I'm not actually gonna give the name of right now. We'll let that be a standalone episode. So okay, that's
Cool,
it for
cool.
these 2 books.
Join us next time and we will be reviewing Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins.
Until next time, I'm Christy,
And I'm Lena.
and this is Generation
Generation
Gap
Gap
Book
Book
Reviews.
Reviews.